take a look at the vision that you have for your organization and your team. Often, and particularly very entrepreneurial companies, the vision and the founder are one and the same almost. It's kind of hard to separate those two things. The problem is that if the vision for your team and organization is personified in you, it's basically just you turn up and tell people where we're going, then that's a very unscalable way of growing a business. So actually turn that on its head and saying, let's collaboratively create a vision for what we might achieve together. So just depersonalizing the vision from any one person and starting to build it into a leadership team that can collectively agree on the direction you're going in. That's step number one. If you create a collaborative vision, that North Star, where the team is aligned around where you're going, that's a really good foundation for building out a scalable team or organization. The next step then is actually just to build a drumbeat, an implementation pulse to help you achieve that vision. So you start to break it down. You think, okay, well, if we want to achieve this in 5 years or 10 years, well, what do we need to achieve this year? What do we need to achieve this quarter? What do we need to achieve this month? What do we need to do today to get there? The reality is that the actions that everybody in your organization takes on any given day over time add up to whether or not you're going to achieve your vision or not. So you want to ensure that your people know what they're doing every day adds up to that. And as a leader, your job is to begin to connect those dots. Most leaders are very good at casting the high level vision of where we're going. They're usually pretty good at saying, what do we need to do today? But where a lot of organizations and teams start to break down a little bit is the bit in the middle. So, you set your annual goals and then you get together halfway through the year and you're like, I forget what it was that we said we were going to do. Are we on track? I can't remember. So you're just trying to stitch those things together. And then the final step is just to build a series of leadership disciplines to help you navigate that journey, stay that course, to ensure that you're developing your people as your team achieves their goals.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So it's about both taking a look at that really, the broad big picture and understanding what the big vision is. Where are you trying to go in future at all? Breaking it down then into these kind of attainable bite-sized chunks, breaking that down obviously by year, then quarter, month, week, day. But once you're in the day-to-day, don't get pulled away. Don't get pulled away by these kind of putting out fires, as we talk about. Don't get sucked into the weeds. So what is the kind of mindset that a leader can be in so that they are sticking on track to these day-by-day goals and not getting, pulled out to put out fires?
Well, I mean, the big thing is to recognize that actually fighting those day-to-day crises and fires, there's a gravitational draw towards that. There's a pull to it for a couple of reasons. One, it's often more exciting than spending time thinking about the medium and long-term direction of your team and development of your people. It's like, oh, this sounds fun. I got to go solve this emergency. The second thing is it actually gives us an ego boost. So if we get to the end of the day and we feel like we've helped our team out of a tricky situation that day, we get to go home and we feel wanted and needed and valued and useful. It feels great, right? We get that little ego boost. But the problem is you start doing that over time. What you end up doing is you create a sense of learned helplessness in your people, which makes them say, well, I'm just going to stop thinking for myself because my boss, my leader, my manager is just going to jump in and help me out and save the day anyway. And you want to tip that on its head. And so just being really aware of that dynamic, aware of the liability that it brings to you and your team, the fact that it creates a bottleneck in your growth and you're the bottleneck. That's step number one, just realizing where it's not helpful. And then the second thing is to refocus your intention on what it means to be a great leader. So back to that original conversation or original question where we were talking about those older models of leadership, a big part of that was leaders believe that their key goal is to just ensure that we achieve our goals, that's it. That's what, you achieve your goals and that's good enough. I think we're now moving more and more to a position where in order to be a truly effective leader, you've got to say that you can help your team achieve your goals and you can help them develop and grow into the best version of themselves. And if that's your model of leadership, then actually there's no room for you being the hero because you're robbing them of that opportunity to develop and grow into the best version of themselves.
Very interesting. Okay. So Okay, with that mindset in mind, how does a leader prioritize where to put their attention? Because of course, sometimes a fire is actually going to need your attention, but not all of them do.
Right.
So how do you choose?
It's about getting really good at prioritizing what's coming into your, virtual or real inbox on a daily basis, whether it's emails, phone calls, meetings, somebody just calling up on a random Zoom call. We have a tendency to allow anybody to interrupt us at any time and assign whatever priority they want on us. So that puts us in a world where everything's urgent because somebody's like, I need this now. And we get sucked into that. That's the allure of that. Ooh, that's exciting. Let's go, let's go work on that. Yeah, my strategic plan, I'll leave that to the side. Let's go jump in and do that. So actually just getting really good at priority management of saying what is truly urgent. Because if everything's truly urgent, then nothing is urgent, And so you think about that quadrant of this is something that's truly urgent and it's truly important. Well, that is probably a crisis and you want to attend to it. But here's the thing, even if you're faced with a truly urgent, truly important crisis, your first reaction doesn't necessarily have to be that you jump in and fix it. Your first reaction could be to say, okay, who on my team actually could do a good job of fixing this and getting them involved? Now, it doesn't mean you abdicate from that crisis at all. In fact, you want to ensure that you've got your hands on the steering wheel, but actually assembling a person or a team and hey, this is what we've got. Go deal with that. Let me know what support you need from me. I'm here to ensure that's to ensure that we're tracking on this. That's a great way to just ensure that you're not getting sucked into that. You also give your team more and more responsibility for dealing with things and they get to grow. So just dealing with those urgent, important things in that way, those true crises, where you really add value is on those things that are really important, but not that urgent. Really important, but not that urgent. And those are the things that are always at the bottom of the to-do list. They're like, I know I need to get to it. I know it's really important, but I've got all of these things between now and that. And that is things like the medium term direction of where you're going and building plans to grow and develop your people. And so I encourage leaders all the time, delegate your crises, don't abdicate them, delegate them, and spend more of your time working on those important but not urgent aspects.
That's a really great way to look at it. Yeah, absolutely. We've all got those like agendas for meetings, and then there's that stuff that just stays every single meeting, and you cycle through like a brand new 2-3 issues, and then you're always like, oh, this okay, we'll do these ones.
We'll get
and
to
they
that
just
someday.
stay. Yeah, they're there for like a year, and no one ever does them.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And if it never becomes urgent, then and that's the thing with a lot of those things. Actually, you think about developing your people, it actually never becomes urgent until there's an actual performance issue or until they're about to leave your organization. So, but by that stage, it's way too late, and so you have to find a way. I think sometimes we think truly important things at some point will become urgent. That's not necessarily the case. They may never, or certainly they may only become urgent at the point at which it's too late.
When it is a crisis.
Right. And it's too late for us to do anything about it. Yeah.
Right.